Hello friends, this is me, your host. Welcome back to our channel. I hope you all are well, doing great. So today I'm back with another video to give a review on a book which is A Path to Peace and Prosperity. So we have reviewed its chapter 1 in the last videos. You can watch it on our channel if you haven't seen it yet. So we will continue it with chapter 2 in this video. So the chapter 2 is Constructing a Peaceful World, the Pillars of Collective Achievement. Peace is not just the absence of war or conflict. It is the basis on which all types of prosperity are established. In the absence of peace, societies cannot flourish. Economies cannot grow in a sustainable manner, and individuals cannot fulfill their personal potential. And yet, with all the advances that human beings have made in science, technology, and governance, real enduring peace continues to be unattained objective in much of the world. The causes of conflict are numerous and multifaceted, ranging from political disagreements and territorial claims to hardship and social injustice. But peace is not a utopian fantasy. History has proven that societies that invest in peace building initiatives through education, diplomacy, and cross cultural understanding establish a climate where individuals can thrive. When peace is the guiding principle of a civilization, creativity is unleashed, progress is accelerated, and humanity as a whole reaps the rewards. A peaceful world starts with the individual, then families with communities, before reaching nations. It is a wave effect where small acts of kindness, justice, and compassion play a part in global movement towards peace. Peace is not something that happens passively. It is something which is actively pursued, cared for, and guarded in order to create a world where harmony exists. We first need to grasp what are the most important factors leading to peace, and this starts with the most basic: inner peace. Inner peace's role. Inner peace is the foundation upon which all outside peace stands. An individual in conflict with their own self will necessarily export that conflict to the world of people, to relationships, to places of employment, and to community. Much of the globe's larger wars find their origins with individuals or groups who behave in fear, in anger, or in pain, yet unworked. Nations don't go to war, humans do, and such individuals tend to be motivated by inner angst. Personal insecurity, historical resentment, or ideological inflexibility. Achieving inner peace involves self knowledge and awareness. It is the capacity to stay calm in the face of adversity, to develop patience during trying times, and to develop a profound sense of satisfaction irrespective of what is happening around them. Meditation, gratitude exercises, and emotional intelligence all play a role in the state of mind. When people practice inner peace, they become less reactive, more empathetic, and less likely to feel conflict in their everyday interactions. When societies value the mental well being of their populations, making it possible for all to access counseling, stress reduction programs, and mindfulness courses, they construct a more pacified society in the face of aggression. Emotionally intelligent schools, work environments that model balance, and families that dialogue openly all beget a pacified world. Inner peace is not solely an individual objective, it is a seed of which global peace is born. Spreading peace to relationships. Peace is not an idea that stands alone. It is an idea that needs to be everyday in how we engage with the world around us, how we treat our loved ones, friends, colleagues, and even strangers determines the general mood of the world. Peace in relationship starts with respect, compassion, and a listening ear. It flourishes when people exert an effort to reconcile with comprehension and not aggression. Most personal conflicts worsen not due to the nature of the conflict, but due to the manner in which individuals convey their frustration. Most arguments come from misunderstanding, assumptions, and impatience. Once individuals master listening with the goal of understanding as opposed to replying, disagreements are escalated before they become lasting grudges. Forgiveness is also important in peaceful relationships. Resentment of past wrongs forms emotional bonds that can grow into bitterness and alienation. Forgetting anger does not mean approving of bad behavior, but rather deciding to move on without letting pain dictate one's future. Families, communities, and countries that practice forgiveness construct bridges rather than walls, creating a place where healing and growth can take place. Conflict resolution without violence. The world has learned to perceive violence as part of the conflict resolution process. Wars have been waged throughout history over land, power, and ideologies, leaving destruction in their path. However, hundreds of leaders and movements have shown that there is no possibility of non-violence, but it's much more effective in bringing about change that lasts. Non-violent conflict resolution starts with dialogue. Free-wheeling discussions enable opposing groups to articulate their grievances, apprehensions, and requirements in a systematic way. Mediation, facilitated talks, and diplomatic intervention have averted numerous confrontations from becoming violent. Genuine leadership is not Genuine leadership is not gauged by the success of a country in fighting war, but by its success in averting it. Education is also an important factor in the prevention of violence. Societies that educate people in problem solving, emotional intelligence, and cultural tolerance from childhood tends to raise people who will seek non-violent solutions to conflicts. The better a population knows the causes of violence, whether economic injustice, structural oppression, or lack of access, the better they can tackle the causes before they manifest as conflict. Empathy and compassion are power tools. One of the greatest peace building tools is empathy. When individuals view the world as other people see it, they gain a greater appreciation for alternative perspectives and life experiences. Most conflicts stem from ignorance of the pain and hardship experienced by others. Individuals are quick to criticize without really knowing what another human being or group has gone through. Compassion is the active expression of empathy. Simple empathy is not enough. One must be willing to do something to ease it for there to be peace. Kind acts of charity and assistance bring about a feeling of oneness. The concept that humanity is a single family and does not exist as many competing groups. Compassionate leaders govern societies that prioritize the well being of everyone in society over privileged individuals. Organizations that apply compassion in their practices develop organizations where employees are respected beyond productivity. Societies that focus on compassion in how they interact develop cultures where individuals feel safe, appreciated, and respected. A world at peace is established upon a compassionate heart. 2.5 Peace starts with education. Education is perhaps the strongest tool against war. It enlightens, opens minds, and gives the knowledge to comprehend and appreciate other cultures, beliefs, and histories. Ignorance creates fear, and fear creates division. When individuals are not educated about the world and its intricacies, they're more prone to prejudice, misinformation, and hatred. A curriculum that encompasses history, philosophy, international affairs, and social justice educates students not just facts but also critical thinking. It empowers them with the capacity to challenge dangerous narratives and identify manipulation. It instills the knowledge that diversity is not a threat but a strength. In addition, education access lowers economic inequality, a key conflict driver. If individuals have avenues for self development, work, and social mobility, they will be less likely to turn to crime, violence, or extremism. Education investment is an investment is a more peaceful world. International cooperation for global peace. Peace is not only an internal affair, it demands global collaboration. No country stands alone, and in a more intertwined world, wars in one area could resonate across the globe. Wars in one area could resonate across the globe. Trade, global warming, fiscal policies, and diplomatic relationships all bind nations together, requiring cooperations. History has demonstrated that when countries opt for diplomacy instead of aggression. Stability is attained. International institutions such as the United Nations, peacekeeping forces, and collaborative treaties are essential in avoiding conflicts and settling disputes. Nevertheless, global peace is not just the responsibility of governments. Citizens must also work towards promoting ethical foreign policies, promoting equitable trade, and building cross cultural understanding. International cooperation means that countries need to put human rights ahead of political interests. Political interests. If the great powers keeps on taking advantage of weaker nations for resources, manpower, or strategic purposes, anger will continue and peace will be impossible. Rather, genuine cooperation must be founded on mutual respect, equitable negotiations, and a desire to benefit all human beings, not merely a privileged few. The role of government and leadership in peace. Governments have a crucial role in promoting peace. The laws they enforce, the policies they enact, and the kind of atmosphere they provide for their people all go to determine the stability of a country. Those leaders who lead just those leaders who lead justly and honestly build societies in which justice reigns supreme, while those who plant discord and fear bring about instability. A peace loving government put diplomacy, education, and economic opportunity ahead of military expansion and authoritarian rule. It makes sure that every voice, no matter what race, religion, or political ideology, is heard and respected. Political leaders have to understand that their job is to serve the people, not to rule them. Corruption is perhaps the biggest threat to peace. When power is exercised for personal interests, instead of the common good, societies are harmed and frustration, rebellions, and even revolutions. Result: transparency, accountability, and moral leadership are essential to ensure peace. When leaders behave wisely with compassion and justice, they set an example that future generations will seek to emulate. The impact of technology on peace. Technology can be both a force for peace and for destruction. Throughout modern history, technological advancement has been employed to build weapons of mass destruction, establish cyber war, and disseminate disinformation. Technology has also, however, been a force for good, bringing expansion and authoritarian rule. It makes sure that every voice, no matter what race, religion, or political ideology, is heard and respected. Political leaders have to understand that their job is to serve that people, not to rule them. Corruption is perhaps the biggest threat to peace when power is exercised for personal interests instead of the common good. Societies are harmed, and frustration, rebellions, and even revolutions results. Transparency, accountability, and moral leadership are essential to ensure peace. When leaders behave wisely with compassion and justice, they set an example that future generations will seek to emulate. Impact of technology on peace. Technology can be both a force for peace and for destruction. Throughout modern history, technological advancement has been employed to build weapons of mass destruction, establish cyber war, and disseminate disinformation. Technology has also, however, been a force for good, bringing people together all over the world, enhancing access to education, and raising living standards for millions. Social media and digital platforms enable individuals from various backgrounds to have serious conversations and this promotes understanding of cultures. Online learning creates avenues for individuals in far torn regions to acquire new skills and help their communities rebuild. To make sure technology continues to be a force of peace, it needs to be utilized responsibly. Governments, corporations, and citizens have to cooperate in order to counter hate speech online, suppress the dissemination of disinformation, and control detrimental AI and surveillance technologies. Technology has to be designed with moral implications as a top priority, making sure it benefits humanity. Humanity instead of fragmenting it. They will not take justice into their own hands. Crime diminishes. Societies are more cohesive and citizens have faith in the authorities. Justice and equality are not simply moral aspirations, they are useful requirements for a peaceful world. The power of love and compassion in a peaceful world. There is a single yet great force that there is a single yet great force that is at the center of every peace building effort: love. Love for human beings, love for the world. Policies, diplomacy, and education are all crucial in bringing about peace, but they are only effective when underpinned by a sincere desire, sincere and care for others. Love is not about walking away from tough talk or avoiding confrontations. Rather, it is walking in towards conflict with an open heart. Love is not about walking away from tough talk or avoiding confrontations. Rather, it is walking in towards conflict with an open heart. Rather, it is walking in towards conflict with an open heart, listening before condemning and opening for understanding rather than hostility. If people and leaders followed this principle, many conflicts would be resolved even before they breed violence. Sustaining peace through social systems. A genuinely peaceful society is based on the strength of social structures that provide justice, equality, and opportunities to all. Peace is more than avoiding war. It is about a context. It is about a context where individuals are secure, respected, and empowered. This involves investment in social infrastructures like healthcare, education, housing, and equal legal systems. Inequality is one of the greatest threats to peace. When wealth and power are vested in the hands of a few, the rest are left to fight to stay alive. This gives rise to resentment, crime, and political instability. Policies need to be put in place by governments to narrow the gap between the rich and the poor, ensuring a free and impartial system of justice is also essential to peace. If people think the law is there for everyone equally and not to guard only the elite, escalating to violence. The chapter emphasizes the power of compassion and empathy and how relating to other people's experiences build cohesion rather than conflict. At a macro level, the chapter looks at the place of international cooperation and how diplomacy, equitable trade, and moral foreign policies help create global stability. If then talks if then talks about the duty of governments and leaders where ethical leadership, justice, and equitable economic policies are highlighted. Technology is seen as a two-edged sword, which can both be the cause of conflict and the builder of peace, depending on usage. The chapter also emphasizes that robust social systems are important and demonstrates that equality is the allocation of resources and justice results in stability that will result. Finally, the chapter concludes with a call to embrace love and understanding, reinforcing the idea that true peace is built on the foundations of kindness, empathy, and a shared commitment to uplifting one another. Peace is not just a dream, It is an achievable reality when individuals, communities, and nations choose to work together for the greater good. With this, we set the foundation for a world where cooperation dominates conflict, justice over oppression, and humanity coexists in peace. The power of love and compassion in a peaceful world. There is a single yet great force that is at the center of every peace building effort: love. Love for human beings, love for the world, and love for justice. And love for justice, policies, diplomacy, and education are all crucial in bringing about peace, but they are only effective when underpinned by a sincere desire to serve and care for others. Love is not about walking away from tough talk or avoiding confrontations. Rather, it is walking in towards conflict with an open heart, listening before condemning, and opting for understanding rather than hostility. If people and leaders followed this principle, many conflicts would be resolved even before they breed violence. So, this is all we have from this book. I hope you guys liked the book and you get the message, right message from this book, that how we can build a beautiful world with peace and prosperity. Peace and prosperity. So I'll be back with another videos with another books. Till then, just take care and goodbye.